Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, announced an end to all mandates and all lockdowns in Great Britain, including in schools. Here's part of it.
Our scientists believe it is likely that the Omicron wave has now peaked nationally. From now on, the government is no longer asking people to work from home. And people should now speak to their employers about arrangements for returning to the office. And having looked at the data carefully, the Cabinet concluded that once regulations lapse, the government will no longer mandate the wearing of face masks anywhere.
So the United States used to lead the world, particularly in the field of science. Modern science was essentially invented here. It was certainly perfected here. Now the United States follows the world. Much smaller countries, our two closest allies, in fact, countries that took COVID at least as seriously as we did, have decided that what we've done for the last 2 years doesn't work. And they're changing their policies. They're freeing their population from the yoke of this insanity. All of that was happening at the very moment Biden was preparing for his big solo press conference. But apparently nobody told him what was happening. Again, our two strongest allies were doing this, and he didn't know. At the same moment that Boris Johnson announced that masks don't work, Joe Biden declared that he's going to send 400 million masks to American citizens so that every person in America can be safe for a day. It is lunacy. It's depressing to watch, and it has massive implications. Again, this is not global leadership. It's the opposite. This is what it looks like when you're a global laughingstock. Even Biden's aides know it. Watch Biden's own COVID advisor admit that masks don't stop transmission.
We know today that many of the face cloth coverings that people wear are not very effective in reducing any of the virus movement in or out. Either you're breathing out or you're breathing in. And in fact, if you're in the upper Midwest right now, anybody who's wearing their face cloth covering can tell you they can smell all the smoke that we're still getting.
Okay, so that was in August, almost half a year ago. A few months later, in December last month, CNN's resident doctor admitted that it's true. Masks are useless. They've always been useless.
Cloth masks are not appropriate for this pandemic. It's not appropriate for Omicron. It was not appropriate for Delta, Alpha, or any of the previous variants either.
And yet Joe Biden is bragging that he's sending every American a mask, so every American can be safe for one day. This is pathetic. Why are they doing this? It's a question worth asking, especially since Joe Biden knows the masks don't work. It's why he takes his mask off when it irritates him. Here he was just a few days ago.
What we've been able to do is I've been able to generate significant federal help.
So Joe Biden knows masks don't work. CNN knows that masks don't work. Joe Biden's COVID advisors knows that masks don't work. The country of Great Britain has admitted that in public. So with that in mind, here's what the Biden administration has been saying about masks for the last 2 months. Watch the lies.
Masking. Masking is an important tool to control the spread of COVID-19. And when you're indoors in public places, you should wear the mask.
CDC continues to recommend that any mask is better than no mask, and we do encourage all Americans to wear a well-fitting mask to protect themselves.
We want to make sure people keep their masks on. I think the idea of taking masks off, in my mind, is really not something we should even be considering.
They act like there's no cost to covering your face. But the truth is, human beings need to see one another's faces. It's not optional. We pretend that it is. Any society that ignores natural imperatives, things as basic as seeing other people's faces, will destroy itself and the people who live within it. Everyone knows that. What you just saw is not science. It's mental illness. Joe Biden apparently doesn't know that, and that's why even Starbucks no longer listens to him.